Billy Frank Jr. died today. If you don't know the name, you know the result of his work. The Native American activist fought to restore Northwest salmon rivers and the rights of tribes to fish in them. Environmental specialist Gary Chittum has more on the life of a salmon warrior.
Billy Frank Jr. lived long enough to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the ruling that restored Northwest tribal fishing rights. He led that fight, spilling his own blood many times on the banks of the Nisqually River, where he refused to stop fishing.
And because that's where the salmon is, that's where our food is, And so that was all ingrained in me.
He was beaten, he lost relatives, he lost comrades in the battle, he lost his freedom over 50 times.
Michael Harris worked closely with Billy Frank, creating a television series.
This is Indian country.
One segment highlighted Billy's fight for fishing rights that ended when a judge in 1974 restored the tribe's rights that were secured in the original treaty. But Billy didn't stop fighting. He led more legal battles to restore damaged salmon rivers and streams. He led the Northwest Indian Fisheries Council, which used modern science to preserve salmon runs headed for extinction. He became a head of state, listened to by presidents and world leaders. Within just a few hours of Billy Frank's death this morning, there were announcements coming out of the governor's office, U.S. Senator Maria Cantwell's office, the King County Executive's office, several fishing groups and wildlife groups and environmental groups. Billy Frank was more than just a fish warrior.
But really fought for all of us. Everybody who cares about salmon out here owes a bit of a debt to Billy Frank Jr.
The steelhead, the coho.
From the violent early days of the fish wars to the celebration of the removal of the Elwha dams, Billy Frank was there. He would often say, the battle is never over, never stop fighting. He never did.
Them salmon will all survive here.
In Seattle, Gary Chittum, King 5 News.
Billy Frank Jr. was 83. Services are scheduled for Sunday morning at 10.